your neighbors are tired of the rotten egg odor coming from the paper mill 2 miles away. You don't smell it every day, but when you do, man does it smell. No one goes outside on those days. You've talked about working together to get something done about it. But what can you do, and where do you start? Hi, my name is Maria Jolly, and I'm an environmental health researcher working with the CDC and the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, or ATSDR. This is the third in a series of 3 webcasts explaining how you can get involved in reducing environmental odors in your community. In Part 1, we discussed how to keep an environmental odor diary. In Part 2, we discussed ways to control odors. And now, in Part 3, we will explain how to reduce your personal exposure to environmental odors. We will also discuss how to communicate with local officials and industry to request action to reduce environmental odors and how to promote environmental odor education for healthcare providers. For most people, environmental odors usually do not result in long-term harmful health effects or illness. However, they can affect your quality of life by adding stress and disrupting normal activities. Let's review some symptoms that can be related to exposure to environmental odors. The most common are headache and nausea. Other symptoms sometimes related to odors include eye, nose, and throat irritation, nasal congestion, hoarseness, sore throat and cough, chest tightness and shortness of breath, heart palpitations, drowsiness, and mental depression. Of course, you may not know what is causing these symptoms. For example, nasal congestion may also be related to seasonal allergies, and heart palpitations may be a sign of a more serious problem. As always, when you have questions about health symptoms, you should see your doctor. People respond to environmental odors in different ways. Some are more sensitive and react strongly to bad odors. Others do not. Women, the very young and the very old, are at higher risk of being affected by odors. For more information, watch ATSDR's video on environmental odor sources, exposure symptoms, and sensitive populations, an overview for community members. Now let's discuss how you and your neighbors can take personal action to protect yourselves from environmental odors. First, you can review your completed environmental odor diaries to find out when and where odors are the greatest nuisance. Then you can try some simple solutions such as closing windows, exercising indoors, or leaving the area for a while when the odors are worse. If you live in a community affected by environmental odors, you and your neighbors can work together to reduce or remove them. First, you can form a community action group to give your community a united voice. Then, you can choose leaders who can represent your group by listening and speaking on your behalf. Next, your action group leaders can meet with civic and industry officials to get their help in resolving odor issues. Your group leaders can request meetings with city government representatives such as the mayor or members of the city council or the county board of health. At the meetings, your group leaders can share your community's environmental odor concerns and ask for support in finding solutions. Your leaders can also share some possible odor control solutions. One solution is for local government to use their existing nuisance laws to require facilities to reduce environmental odors. See more solutions at ATSDR's website on environmental odors. In addition, your action group leaders can meet with representatives from the facility emitting the odors. Approaching them as partners can encourage them to work with the community to reduce bad odors. Your group leaders can share area health concerns and symptoms, as well as the findings of the environmental odor diaries, such as types of odors, location, and times that the environmental odors are worse. Action group leaders can also offer industry leaders some possible odor control solutions, such as those outlined on the ATSDR website. Finally, your leaders can ask your local, state, or health departments to offer healthcare providers environmental odor education that can train them to recognize possible symptoms of exposure. Grand rounds are another way healthcare providers can receive education in the hospital where they work. Sometimes health organizations offer these educational presentations to alert the medical community about local health problems, such as the effects of environmental odors. Fact sheets, flyers, and other environmental odor information can also be helpful in educating healthcare providers and the community. In summary, community action can be effective in reducing environmental odor problems. Concerned citizens can form action groups to encourage and support personal action to reduce exposure, partner with elected government officials and industry leaders to develop solutions, and ask health departments to train local healthcare providers on how to recognize environmental odor exposure symptoms. Please visit the CDC ATSDR website on environmental odors for more information. Thank you.